Carl here from Games, Brains and a Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short. And it's review time as we're going to one of my personally highly anticipated albums of 2022. It is the German post-hardcore trio Future Palace with their sophomore album Run, due for release on the 10th of June 2022 via A Rising Empire. Didn't know anything about this band until this album started to come about and singles started to get released. And then I started to pick up on that. Defeating Gravity was one in particular that jumped out at me. And I don't know what it was about them, because post-hardcore, it's I don't want to say 10 a penny, but there's enough bands out and enough good bands that you could argue there's nothing about Future Palace that's doing massively different to sort of stand out from the pack. But something about their music, the way they deliver it and their style just resonated really nicely with me. Enough so that I started to get really excited for this album, started to get really interested in what they were doing in the singles, and kind of thinking, shit, this might be up there as one of my albums of the year, at least in this specific genre. But we are here now. It is out on the 10th of June. I'm reviewing it, I'm talking to you, I've heard the full thing, so yeah, see what I think. I'm excited because I get to talk about this album. It's just grown and grown on the single releases leading to this eventual album. They were already a bit of a rising star, Future Palace, looking really, really strong, and now coming to cement their place in this post-hardcore scene. And hopefully turn even more heads towards what is, I think, a very exciting brand of thought-provoking melodic heaviness, expertly weaving emotive effects with crunchy and chunky, hardcore-infused metal. The pairing of Paradise and Dead Inside gets run off to a banging start. Great opening pair, really got me hot for the rest of the album. And then there's a bite that Future Palace has. It's quite ferocious, but not to the extent it's skin tearing. And that's kind of like lowered because of the epic vocals, a mix of soaring extravagance and guttural passion that's there as well. Then you have dramatic melodies with sauntering heaviness, touches of hip-hop, and a modern stylish rhythm. Flames in particular keeps the heat up, whereas Locked is one of the more chaotic efforts on this album. Love that track, and a Heads Up has rhythmic head-banging bounce. The halfway point being reached with Sleep Tight, a highlight of the album as it has Future Palace getting a bit darker, colder and more melodic. It's still hitting an incredibly epic high with the chorus. That's half the album, man, and to be honest, I ain't got a bad thing to say. Just thoroughly enjoy track after track after track. And it's varied throughout, but not to the extent that tracks are unrecognizable as Future Palace, or that they don't belong on this album. It's the unknown. That makes each new listen infinitely exciting. And the second half of Run, as strong as the first. Banger after banger. Defeating Gravity, I already mentioned it, is one of the most anthemic tracks in the album with, I think, one of the best vocal performances. An ardent display of melody and metal makes Roses and Wounds another notably pair of strong listens before phenomenal taste of modern post-hardcore comes along with the infectious A World in Tears. Again, Future Palace showing just why they are enchanting so many around the world, including me, with a modern and fresh take on what is ultimately a very familiar style. Well, there's two more to go though. Two more, and guess what? The heavyweight hitters. Loco, up in the energy levels in exciting spates, and Fever's pace running absolutely hot, ensuring this album goes out in blistering and, really important word, passionate style. For me, this album exceeded expectations. Run is a statement from Future Palace. This is no flash in the pan band. This is their sophomore album. They're cementing their position. They're saying, hey, that wasn't a one-off. We are this bloody good, but we're also better than you even know. They're a band that's here to dominate. I think this album is phenomenal. I absolutely loved it. One of my albums of the year, and certainly within the post-hardcore world. It's out on the 10th of June via Rising Empire. Not too long to wait. Check it out. Come back to me. Drop it in the comments. Love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon and help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?